Hello, 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 and welcome to Neuro-Heretical Wargaming. My name is Brenden, and today we will be building two squads of Adeptus Arbites. Maybe, if I get through it. But good evening, everyone. Tristan, Wanting Fire, Mini Doc. Always happy to see all three of you. Tristan, I guess you got a point. I'll give you that one. If anyone is allowed to make the joke, it is you. You are correct. All right, but yes, we'll be making a couple of Arbite squads. So essentially what we're going to be doing is I need to... my exaction squad is actually not game legal. So I will be doing a few dudes to replace the shields in that to make it more game legal. And then everybody else will actually be more shield dudes. So I have two subductor squads going forward for like if I ever actually do an Imperial Agents army. So we will get working on that one. Real quick, I am actually going to turn on the fan because it's a little warm. No problem. I have a remote somewhere. I just don't know where it ended up. All right. Well, Tristan, it's a little funny you should mention that, actually. Clippers. So, there is actually a poll up right now on the channel for anyone that hasn't been watching, for anyone that hasn't noticed yet. And the poll on the channel is kind of, what do people want to see? Kind of going more from, see more from us going to the new year. We will, of course, be continuing our Hobby Tuesdays and our Sundays, but we do also want to see what you guys think would be interesting to see. And one of the votes is actually more video game streams. So if you guys want to see us play Darktide, let us know. And also, of course, Tristan, I'd be more than happy to play with you outside of the channel, but never miss a chance to plug something. All right, let's get some music on, actually, since it's a little quiet currently. And then I'll just mute that, so it's not like double feeding you guys. And then let me know if the music's too loud or if it gets like weird or something. Let me make sure I have my instructions up. Here we go. So we're gonna start with the two kind of leaders. I don't know what they're technically called. I'm trying something a little new with having my phone over here so I don't have to constantly be looking back and forth. If I just find somewhere to let it stand. All right, there we go. Maydoc does actually make a decent point. Horus Heresy games can take a while. I like Horus Heresy, don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. However, it is not a quick game system by any stretch of the imagination. Like, not even close. Alright. See if I can find these little eagle dudes. Oh, I didn't realize you had. I didn't even see that part where you mentioned the other person actually having horse. I don't know if I've ever actually played against Primarchs in Heresy. Mostly because I don't have one. I don't particularly want to get like that stuck in. I've heard very mixed things on how fun Primarchs are or are not to play against. Just because like you're constantly trying to, I mean, like, they don't die. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, Horus Ascended. For people who don't know, there are actually two Horus minis in Horus Heresy. There is the regular horse they released a while back. And then there's Horse Ascended, which is actually relatively new. They released it. They're kind of re-releasing the Primarchs, kind of how they. It's supposed to be like how they were at like the height of the siege. They've been moving very slow on it because Horus Ascended came out relatively early on in Horus Heresy 2nd edition. Like it was a while ago. They did that. They did Fulgrim Ascended, which is a great model, but God help you if you're trying to actually transport it to a game. And then they did show off Angron Ascended, I think, over a year ago. And it has just been complete radio silence on him. Yes, Wanting Fire. Vulcan is a mini in Horus Heresy. All of the Primarchs exist in Horus Heresy and have minis and game rules. Alright, let's get this all together. I'm gonna move this over here so I can actually see my screen. Okay. Set that right there. And let's get to gluing. I mean, that's fair. From what I've seen, 3.0 tends to be a little bit quicker. It's still relative because it is Heresy. Heresy is just a crunchier rule system, so it has a lot more like in-depth rules, and it just moves slower by a result of that. But it also, the games are typically bigger in Horus Heresy. So like, give me a second. I feel like there is a fair bit of like, you can play a fair number of point values. I think it's fair. I feel like it's a little bit easier to find different point values to play at in Heresy because it is a more narrative focused game. However, it is also the standard, quote unquote, tends to be around 3,000 points. And that's a lot of models and just a whole lot of duders. Like, all tabletop war games are ultimately a luxury. That's just, you know, by their nature. They always will be, even if they're relatively cheap. They're the definition of a luxury product. Horus Heresy just takes it to a whole other level. Because it takes a lot of dedication. It's easier than it's ever been. And it still takes a lot of dedication. Oop. Don't you want to fit in there? There you go. I will say this, Wanting Fire. If you're wanting to play Horus Heresy, keep in mind, at least if you're wanting like the Vulcan mini from Horus Heresy, keep in mind that it is a little bit different. By which I mean it, how to put it? What's the word I'm looking for? It's a resin mini. That's the word. Sorry. Cannot remember the word resin for some reason. So it's going to be a little different than the plastic minis you've kind of put together so far. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind a little bit. I'm going to move this over here. So you guys can... I feel like I'm a little more this way. Sure, that'll work. Resin's just a little bit more difficult to work with. It's not hard, it's just a little more difficult. Mostly because you have to like wash it and like scrub it off with a toothbrush, and then you have to use like super glue, which is kind of a pain, but not like the worst. On the one hand, these Arbites kits are gorgeous. On the other hand, they are a kill team kit. And they are a made for Kill Team kit, so they have lots and lots and lots of options. And it's a bit excessive at times. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. I'm curious if any of you guys have plans for the new year. Be that like actual like New Year's celebrations or just like New Year's Eve, stuff like that. Like, you guys got anything planned? Anything special going on? That is a good point, Mini Doc. Mini Doc does say this looks like he's going to work on a Shattered Legions project in 2026. That, for anyone that doesn't know, that is a Horus Heresy project. It has special rules where you can play the Shattered Legions, like Salamanders, Raven Guard, blah, blah, blah. And kind of mix and match rules, from my understanding. Though I guess I haven't looked at the 3rd edition rules, I don't know for sure. Which are pretty neat. But that does beg the question. There is a tradition in miniature wargaming known as New Year, New Army. So if you guys got a New Year, New Army coming on, what is it? Tell me all about it. I'd love to hear it. I think we've talked about it here and there on the channel. Mine is pretty well set. I'm going to do a... give me just a second. Here we go. I think for me personally, New Year, New Army is probably going to focus on... I guess that was that side. Probably going to focus a bit more on stuff I already have. So I've got that Soviet army. That's all together for the most part. I think I need to make like one HQ or something like that. Let's go focus a lot on the Soviet army I have. And then after that, I think the big thing I want to work on is actually my orcs. Which I have some of them primed. I don't know if I've shown you guys on the channel actually. Let me show that to you real quick. I've got a few different like orc options here. I'm all primed and ready. And I want to do like some kind of rusty like inspired theme. Make them look really junky because I really want to do kind of a mech focus. So I figure out how I'm going to do that. But yeah, that's kind of my plan. A little preview for you guys going forward. Once I'm done here, I will start working on that. Or once I'm done with my Soviets. I think doing my Soviets first, because I am really digging bolt action. I want to get more games in of that. I do actually believe there is a local store doing an escalation league for bolt action. That's kind of exciting. I don't know if I'll do it or not, but hey, still exciting. But yeah, I want to start getting some paint on the boys and start playing with them a little bit before the new edition drops. That's the other thing. For anyone that doesn't know, we should be getting a new edition of 40K coming out here pretty soon. So fingers crossed, kind of keep an eye out for that. I have seen the leaks mini doc, and I am very excited. I was already pretty excited because like Huron Blackheart is a genuine like character I enjoy, and I really like his rules and stuff. I really like them for playing kind of thematic stuff. I think his rules would be fairly thematic for Night Lords. I can't think of words tonight. I'm more tired than I thought. So I am actually looking forward to that. I did see the leaks, so it does look like we are getting... Okay. Minidoc's way ahead of me. Already got out the list. Got that backwards. Turn around. There you go. Little speaker of justice. Looks like Anidoc says New Uriel, Viper, Corsairs, Corsair Psyker, Forge World Corsairs, Melee Corsairs, named Red Corsairs characters, and New Xenos Mercenaries. I hadn't heard the New Xenos Mercenaries. I did hear we're going to get... I did see kind of the pictures of the potential Red Corsairs characters, which I am curious to really see. Well, at least one of them looks like an apothecary, which would be amazing for Chaos Space Marines. I think there was some people talking about potentially... Here. Wait. Excuse me. Some people were talking about there potentially being like... Or the named characters being like more Trader Marines from Badab, which I am... If that is the case, I am very excited for that. Honestly, if we could get like a Badab miniseries... Not on the same scale as Horus Heresy, but like given the same love, maybe like 12 books, not the 50. I would be very excited to see that. They've captured Silver Skull's Apothecary, that Stockholm Syndrome, could be interesting to see him. But no, the Apothecary is actually a Lord Apothecary called Garion. We'll have to see. I know someone also mentioned, which piece do I need, by the way? 32. That's 133. Oh, 132 is just a generic radio. Okay. I do think it could be interesting. Like I said, I'm just kind of curious to see what they are. I think someone said there's a chance the Psyker, that one of the may or may not be, is a Mantis warrior that has been presumed missing since the end of the Badab War. But that could be interesting. Give a second to trim this. Oh yeah, I forgot you had the Death Guard Command Patrol. I feel like I remember you talking about that or something. It would be interesting to see. I mean, if you think about it, the diabetes jokes write themselves. Makes them like hella sugary. That feels dark. Let's not go down that route. Fun fact about the Death Guard that Jeff pointed out to me recently. Well, not recently. It was when the Codex came out, which I guess was a good chunk of the year ago. Side note, that video is the best video we have ever had by far. Well over like maybe not third at this point. But a good chunk of our watch hours are literally just the Death Guard versus World Eaters video. It's kind of crazy. Alright, and then just a generic one of those. Oh, Tim had an idea for making a little sugar crystal out of them. I remember seeing recently on... You guys might have discussed it in the stream. Unfortunately, I was driving, so I didn't really get to watch much of it. I did see a little like picture someone had posted on one of the 40k subreddits talking about they made like a homemade basing material, I think, and the stuff they used in it made it grow like crystal, like sugar crystals grew out of the base, which is kind of sick. Now, it would be interesting to see how well that could be utilized on like an actual mini, like intentionally. It'd be random, but even chaos, I think that kind of works. Right, flip these bad boys over. Get a little radio, which I'm pretty sure one of my exaction squad dudes don't have. Where you gotta find sure that. Tell you what, if you can like remind me, either like right after the stream or tomorrow, I will see if I can dig it up. I don't remember what subreddit it was on though. This was a week or two ago. It was pretty recent. You can probably find it if you looked around, like, careful. Gonna paint the first 3 Death Shroud like Reese's Pieces. Respect. Alright. Is music still playing? I'm actually not sure. Alright. There. Just theme the entire... Just theme them all after different types of candies. Thank you, Madoc. I've got it muted so it doesn't like create a little feedback loop. I guess it wouldn't be a feedback loop, it doesn't like double send it to you guys. Alright. Sergeantes. They have body. These guys are both going to be the seductor sergeants. Or whatever they call them. What do they call them? Proctor Exactant. I can remember that. That's not getting remembered. Alright. Anyway. A lot of bases. Half wondering if I accidentally took a couple that were supposed to be for Scott, because this is actually from, fun fact, the combat patrol that they did for Agents of the Imperium. You get 2 Arbite squads, 1 the Inquisition little kill team, whatever it's called, like henchmen, Inquisitorial henchmen, I think. One of those, an assassin is like your main character, which is weird. An assassin and a preacher. The one with like the flamer and chainsword, which I already have. So I got Arbites. Scott got assassin, preacher, and what was the other one? It just said it too. The assassin. It's the one that's like running on the wall. I forget exactly which one that is. Calidus? Oh, it's Caluxus, I think. I think it's Caluxus. No, Caluxus is the anti-psyker one. I think it's the one Tristan was talking about recently, actually, on the thing. So we need 124 and 126. Here. 126. 126. Got that. And then 124. 120 power. That's what I've heard. I have heard that I know subductors are a pretty significant part of like quote unquote competitive Agents of the Imperium, which is an even funnier term than literally the best than almost anyone else, because they're bad. They're not good at all, and GW clearly has no intent on does not care for them to be competitive, quote unquote. But I do know that basically any list I think starts with several subductor squads. If I remember correctly, I think the plan is basically like get bodies on objectives. And then like when they die, put more bodies on objectives. And then while all that is happening, to keep your like primary up, run around with other dudes doing secondaries. Yeah, 2 or 3 subductors. That do be the place to be. Doobie doobie doo. Alright. Arms. Got glued. Need to do their little. All their extra bits. I want to play. I want to do a little Arbites force because it would be fun. Things said moments before disaster. Couldn't be me. It's me. It's always me. We'll choose both of these 140 pieces. It's fine. We'll use this one. We'll do this one. We'll make them look a little different where we can. So they stand out a little bit more from each other. Maybe these are called the repressor batons. So like, I enjoy Judge Dredd. I feel like that goes without saying when after you say the term, after you use the phrase, I want to play a small Arbites army. I feel like that's just kind of a given that you like Judge Dredd at that point. But Judge Dredd is not a subtle series. By any stretch of the by no stretch of the imagination is it what anyone would call subtle. Hey, it's Scott. I thought you had dinner plans. Unless it's like slow. I don't know. But anyway, Judge Dredd is not subtle. Arbites, even less subtle. Also, I see you, Mini Duck. Go for it. It's not my liver you're going to explode. I'm actually a little sad. I wanted to get... I want to see if I could pick up some sort of like Judge Dredd. Ooh. Judge Dredd like cereal or something. At like Barnes and Noble or something while I was on my Christmas vacation. And I couldn't find it. So I'm a little bummed. I'm gonna have to buy some off Amazon. I got like a $50 gift card. I don't think I want more minis at this point. So I think I'll probably just end up getting like a little Judge Dredd cereal that has a few different issues. Unless if I can get like Apocalypse War or something cool. Hey, listen here, both of you. I don't need both of you jumping on me, okay? Oh, so that's about what I figured, Scott. Figured you guys were probably waiting for, yeah. Ah. There it goes. All right. Judge Dredd cereal, the only legal breakfast. All right. Let those dry for a minute. Set those over there. Then we will quickly mount these dudes on. Because they have the shields, they don't... Their little, like, eagle things can't be, like, above them like the one I currently have. So, they have to be on little platforms. So okay, fun fact. I have actually not seen the Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd. I really need to. So that might be what I do. I'll probably get me a couple and just so everyone is on the same page here, Judge Dredd is a serialized series. It's released weekly and has been since the 70s, I think. I don't know the exact year. Don't quote me on that. I enjoy Judge Dredd. I am also not the world's biggest fan, certainly not the most up to date. But they do. Yeah, I haven't seen it, Scott. Weird, I know. I can quote. I mean, there's several like very well-known scenes from that movie, and it is interesting the parts that I've seen. I would honestly, it's a hot take, and I know it is, but as much as I think 2012 is the better film. Okay, I really probably shouldn't say that having not seen Stallone one, but I don't think that's a hot take. From what I have seen of Stallone one, it does. I feel like it understands the tone of Judge Dredd a fair bit, a little bit better actually. Because Judge Dredd is very goofy. It varies, of course. We're talking about a series that's old, like. Like apocalypse war happens, blah blah blah. But also at the same time, there's a robot rebellion led by a robot literally called Call Me Kenneth. Like, it's not as super serious as the 2012 would want you to believe. Which is interesting. You can see who has read the comics and who has not, based on their feelings on the tone of Judge Dredd 2012, or Dredd, I should say. Also, if you guys genuinely thought you were going to get through an entire stream of me putting together an Arbites and not talking about Judge Dredd, you were insanely wrong. That was like a very poor underestimation on your part. But yeah, Scott, I haven't seen it. If you want, we could do a little company party and get together and watch it. That could be kind of fun. I say company party. We could get together as friends. Okay, so about the Judge Dredd miniatures. I actually do have some street judges. I'm not gonna. I almost said if I get done with these tonight, maybe we can put them together, but that's not happening. This is going to take me a while. But I do, in fact, have some street judges that at some point I need to put together. Alright, bye, Scott. Enjoy your dinner. Mr. I got a girlfriend. I'm so fancy. Me. Bye, Scott. Yeah, I do have some. I need to see if I can find. I should probably check on Amazon. I think the game actually just got canceled recently, like the last 5 or 6 months. I don't remember exactly. It's been a little bit. I know it wasn't like recent. So I really ought to see if I can get my hands on one of the starter sets, just so I have it and I can like play it if I want to. But somewhere in that closet over there, I do actually have some street judges that I got for Christmas from my brother-in-law last year. I wonder if that was before or after I got my father-in-law to watch the 2012 Dredd. It was an interesting experience for me, but that's neither here nor there. I really want to dig in there, see if I can find them real quick. Let me get these guys together. Let me get this guy's arm, if it'll cooperate. Alright, give that a second to dry, and while I'm doing that, I'll use that as an excuse to dig through his closet. I'll be back. Haha. You're gonna have to get used to it, Mayduck. Actually, I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm gonna let it fully regrow or not. I've gotten a bit scruffy. I'm kind of getting to the point where I have to decide if I'm like growing it out again, or if I'm going to shave it. I guess I could get small, leave it, but all right, real quick, we're gonna go down the dive into the whole wide world of miniatures. Little miniature games I haven't played yet. First up, Judge Dredd. Street Judges, I think it comes with 5 of them. Warlord Resin Judge miniatures, got plastic bases, unit cards, armor card for anti-grav shoots, and big card Riot Foam. Yeah, this counts as building Arbites. These guys are actually really easy to put together. I think they just have some arm bits that need to go on. Forgot they were made by Warlord Games. But yeah, I need to track down a starter set for this so I can at least play it. Because unfortunately, I do believe the game was canceled recently-ish, as is normal for Judge Dredd. And real quick, because I found them in there, I still got a couple of Wasteland Warfare Minutemen I need to put together. I'm gonna do a little Minutemen team. I'm not even sure if these guys have customizable weapons. I might not even have to put the arms on them. They might be just based. I might just have to like stick them on the base and paint them. So but yeah, look out for those. Might see those a bit more New Year as I take little breaks from painting to put stuff together. But in the meantime, I did say I wanted to get these done. They've been sitting on my shelf longer than those have. All right. Mouth's a little dry. Right. Oh no, his arm moved, I think. There you go. Yeah, I do like these minis. I really do. They're very good looking minis. They are, however, very detailed minis because they're designed as a kill team first. 40k team second. And that comes with its own little downsides. Primarily, excuse me. And they need leader heads. I'm gonna do slightly different ones. I already have the other dude with the like side crests. I'm gonna do the other dude. These guys are like the mohawks. Where are those heads? See, this is the exciting part that I know you all come for. Watching me slowly look through a bunch of sprues, try and find the one piece that I need, and will inevitably not find for whatever reason. If you guys see it before I do, let me know, right? I know it's in there, it's just a question of where. I think it's probably in this spur. Okay, there they are. Ooh, also, I'm fairly certain I am getting a new little Horus Heresy Lehman Russ for Christmas, which means I will be getting a new little Arbites tank. So we'll have to see which one of these heads fits best on there. I think that one I want to try and glue and magnetize. So we'll be seeing that. Let's see. I can probably put that one together on stream. Watch me cry while trying to do the cry while trying to put the tracks on, because I, for whatever reason, can never seem to get those ones right. Oh, alright. Base these guys. find it kind of interesting when they use when they go through the effort of putting like stuff on the boots, like on the bottom of boots and stuff, just because you're almost never gonna see them. Like, what's the point? Shoulders. Calling them shoulder pads and pauldrons almost feels a bit silly, given I mostly associate that with like Space Marines in this setting. It probably has an actual name, actually. Yeah. Stop in the name of the LEX. And I want to play Darktide. Thanks, Tristan. I actually do really want to play it, but I'm not going to be able to play it tonight. Maybe we'll play tomorrow or something. Then again, tomorrow I also might want to play Baldur's Gate 3. I'm working my way through that, though. I'm kind of, I wouldn't say stuck. I've only put like a total of 30 minutes into it, trying to get through like this one part. But I'm at the Goblin camp. I need to eliminate the goblin leaders. It's just a matter of figuring out how I'm going to do that. I tried to fight the drow. She kicked my butt, and I was an idiot and didn't save like right before that, so I'm gonna have to go back and redo a couple of things before redo a couple of things again that I don't really want to redo. Theirs fit on a little differently than like Space Marine ones do. Alright, got a couple little leaders done. Tristan says, our part, actually, Wine Fire says, we're going to try out Darktide. Got some Xbox Ultimate for $1 for a month, so I'm enjoying that. Yeah, it's just checking out. It's a good little shooter. I forget exactly what the genre is called, specific like subgenre. I just don't remember what it was. But yeah, I definitely recommend it. Tristan says, how about Baldur's Gate 3 for me, where all the places are different from 5e rules. I mean, that's fair. I mean, obviously it has to. Just the nature of the medium, like it can't completely recreate them. Just because, you know, computers. But I will say it is a bit of an advantage for me because I've been kind of out of the 5e game for a little bit. So like mentally, I don't fully remember it. I remember like a lot of the broad strokes. So for me, it hasn't. I haven't had, like that's what I'm trying to say. I haven't had any like hang-ups over it, just because I don't know a lot of the differences besides the ones that are like obviously changed for the sake of it being a video game. All right, these have a 1 on them. I don't think it's going to be in the sprue that starts with like the hundreds. So on the first sprue I had. First sprues I had. There we go. Yeah. These have much lower numbers. Yeah, 1, 2. And 3 and 4. But those are the legs I need. Oh yeah. Alright. Also, just be glad I'm actually not doing these guys in like a Judge Dredd inspired scheme, okay? Count your blessings. I am 1 bad day away from doing that. That'll be there. And do the same thing all over again over here. Wait, you know, no, you know, with the over here. Oh, that's fair. I will say there were a couple moments where my classical thinking on RPGs did throw me off a little as well. Main thing being, typically in kind of RPGs like that, lack of a better term, I don't know the actual term I'm looking for right now. Typically, if you do like an environmental effect, you can do some environmental effects that will just solve the problem. Typically, if you can drop something on a character, it will instant kill the character. So I thought, when I had to kill this goblin, oh, I'll just drop this chandelier on it. That's probably why it's there. Did not instant kill the goblin. In fact, it merely seemed to upset them greatly. So, yeah. Nope. All the dogs are freaking out. I don't know why. I hear them. Also, side note, Tristan, because this did remind me, you can probably commiserate a little with Scotch when it comes to my unconventional plans and combat encounters. Because I pulled off another one recently in the campaign he's running, and that was delightful. Turns out you can get a lot of uses out of some bottles. I'd recommend asking him about that, mostly because I want to hear how he frames the story. I'm gonna have to trim that. Can I do it for her? Yes. I need to do it for you a little bit. Yes. Bottles. Glass bottles, to be specific. Ask him how he feels about that when it comes to combat encounters, and see if it triggers any memories for him. I feel like the answer is probably yes. Alright, so that'll be there. And the pistols, 134. Okay, so just those duders. Doot. Doot. Right. Pistoleros. Also, side note when it comes to Arbites and like using them in game, I'm like still moderately upset that the Exaction Squad can't be taken as a 5-man unit anymore. Because like that was perfect, that was great. Like it made sense, I liked it. It was cool, made sense in lore. It was problem is it was too good in game. It was an auto include for I believe it was Imperial Knights. And worth looking at for basically every other and very much worth looking at in like every other Imperial faction, because they were cheap. And their general rule of thumb is, I don't think they mind if a kill team is like an auto-include. Or not an auto-include. I don't think they mind if like kill team is good in a particular faction. I don't think they want it to be an auto-include, especially if it becomes an auto-include for basically every Imperial faction, which I guess is fair, but also like kill my joy a little bit here, GW. Then radios. This episode brought to you by the power of radio. Actually, every time I say that, it just makes me think of what's it called? Fallout 3. It was like Galaxy News Radio. 3 Dog. I hope they do a remaster of Fallout 3. Then I might actually be able to finish it. I don't think I've ever actually finished Fallout 3, which is also weird. I'm not sure I finished Fallout 3 or New Vegas. Yeah, that's another thing to add to my list of things I need to sit down and just do. Yeah! Quantifier gets it. 3 Dog. They actually brought him back. They were able, I think they were able to. They were able to get the voice actor to come back a little bit for like semi-official mod to Fallout 4, I thought. But I could be wrong. Actually, side note. I don't know if you guys have been watching it, but I am, of course, enjoying the new season of Fallout. I don't know if you guys have watched it yet. If you haven't, I definitely recommend it. I am enjoying it. Hunting Fire says... I love Fallout 3, first Fallout game I played. I think it was actually the first one I played too, and I enjoyed it. I think I like New Vegas a little bit more because there were a lot of gameplay improvements that I like in New Vegas that made it really hard to go back to Fallout 3. So I haven't gone back to Fallout 3. I know I haven't finished it. I definitely want to. It's on my list. That's why I'm kind of hoping they do like the remaster like they did with Oblivion, so I can play it again with just some small quality of life improvements. Just let me look down the gun sight. That's all I ask. Maybe my more mature brain can handle not being able to do that now. I will say, hot take, very hot take. Fallout 4 is actually my favorite Fallout game. The gameplay is just so good in that. The gunplay is really good. I really like voice characters. Main characters, which shouldn't be that surprising because Mass Effect is probably my favorite RPG. But alright. Make sure I'm doing this right. So I need 10 and then a shield. I'll go ahead and flip out a couple of shields. I think all the shields are the exact same except for the leader one. I guess most of them. There's a couple 131, 130. Most of them are just the 129, which is the one we need, I should say. From this side, we get a nice even cut. Here, another one. Here for that one. And then we need to find all the other ones. Oh, chili. Very chili. Really switchy. Alright, 10. Oh, easy to find. Right there. First one. On one of the first screws. Perfect. All right. Hey, oh, so you finished the rest of the minis in the AOS box. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Were you ever able to determine if you really were missing a sprue for the goblin guys? If it is, sorry. Fortunately, that does happen occasionally with GW. It's pretty rare, I will say. Their quality control is pretty good, so that doesn't happen that often. But as we see, it does happen. Typically, you can actually usually reach out to GW and see if you can get it. Okay, so you were missing them. I know, like, if you just bought the box, it's pretty easy to reach out to them. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you'll be able to. I mean, you can try. It never hurts to try. Because usually what they want you to think is they want you to go through the distributor, which is like not really an option, unfortunately, for us. Especially because it's an old box now. Like, that box is like 5 years old. 21, so it came out. It's 4 years old. Not that old, but by GW standards, it kind of is. Now, the time it's worth reaching out. Because worst case scenario, they just send you the sprue you're missing, and hey, you got a free extra sprue out of it in the end. Or they sometimes they'll just send you like the whole box, which is unnecessary but also kind of awesome. The one time something like that has happened to me was what was it? It's the special like Imperial Assassin. He's like standing up tall. I think he's in the box that he's probably in there. Special, like the first Warhammer Plus like special miniature. I was missing the base for it. And I was like, oh man, if they send me a whole extra base, this is about to be awesome. And then they just sent me like 10 bases. And I was like, oh well, they sent me like a bag of bases. I was like, you know what, that's fair. I can't hate on them for that. I mean, a man can dream, but a man has to be reasonable too. Yeah, just look for, you can probably find on their website. It'd just be like GW customer support, and you just email them. Be like, hey, I recently got a Dominion box. It was short of sprues, or any way I can get a replacement. Worst case scenario, they just say no, or they say go through wherever you bought it, and you just say, I can't really do that, and then we kind of shrug, because hey, you did get the whole box for free, so you can't complain too much. Yeah, go to their website. They should have a support page. GW support is actually pretty good. Like I said, they do have a kind of a reputation for, if you have like damaged or missing sprues, send you basically the whole box. Now, they're not going to do that for Dominion probably, but you might be able to get something out of it. You know what? Tristan has a point. Maybe they have him in the record somewhere. That guy might have reached out. That or that box is still at our local store because he cannot get rid of Dominion to save his life, and he has tried. That man. Okay, actually, he hasn't tried that already. Not gonna get too into that, but he bought a lot. He got a lot of Dominion boxes, and he shouldn't have got that many Dominion boxes. I feel bad for him. He's had those for years, just sitting on the shelf. We're like, do you want to do anything for Extra Life? He's like, take it. I don't want it. I can't sell it. Let's get it out of my shop. And we said, say less. Alright, all of these shoulder pads are the same. One of my biggest... Okay. I know, like, I was joking about how much of a pain this set is because it's, like, detailed. And no, it kind of is because of that, but it's, you know, semi-joking on that. However, it does have a few bits in here that are a bit annoying. Specifically this connection. And how this is molded on. So you have to think carefully. Very carefully so I don't cut myself again. Get it off there. It's in a very inconvenient location to reach with clippers unless you have like super pointy tip ones. Right. Well, Wildfire, that's really the main point. As long as you got some enjoyment out of it, it's kind of an older box. Everything in it should be usable. And if you only got the starter, you only got to start one like mostly complete army out of it, I don't feel that bad for you. But yeah, we are glad you enjoyed it. And of course, thank you for supporting us at Extra Life. So if anyone from the state of Colorado is watching, we don't mean financially. No money was exchanged for these items. Let it be very clear. Since apparently unexpected people are watching our streams, namely Frontline Gaming. I don't know if any of you guys were here for that one, but that was weird. I also didn't expect to figure out we were 1 degree of separation from someone who works at Frontline Gaming, which is funny. I mean, yeah, Tristan, who wouldn't? Yeah, that was weird. I mean, we treat this respectfully like a business. We try to take it serious. We try to make improvements both for business side of things and for stuff for you guys. Like, we try to take it seriously. So, but, to put it this way, we jokingly sent an email to Bricky about inviting him to our Extra Life stream. A little behind the scenes knowledge for you. One of the many benefits of joining us on the hobby stream. And got a response out of it, actually. Not from Bricky directly, from his team, to be fair. But we got a response from them, and we were like, oh my god, we got a response from Bricky. That's amazing. We have clearly peaked. This is as high as we'll ever go. So then to get like a very major like company in wargaming space, like on the stream, was incredible. Like, that's frankly amazing. That's why we were like, oh my god. We didn't think it was actually them for them. Like them? Like, yeah. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah. And worry not, Wanting Fire, you are not the only one by any stretch of the imagination who knows nothing about AOS lore or how to play. Because I know nothing about AOS lore or how to play. I know practically nothing about it. I know that it was spun off from Warhammer Fantasy Battles. Warhammer Fantasy Battles I think was pretty neat, even if it was not doing well by the time they had to cancel it. I believe the term is not in a great place. But, someday I might get into AOS. I actually have, funnily enough, Wanting Fire, I have the same AOS starter that you have, kinda. I mean, I am kind of. Like, I have the... whatever they call it. Stormcast Eternals? Yeah. Stormcast Eternals from the Dominion box. Mostly because John didn't want them, and he said, quote, get them out of my house. And I was like, I mean... So John didn't want them, and then I said, how much do they cost? And he's like, and I said, I'll take them for free. And he said, quote, get them out of my house. And I said, all right, I can do that. That is something I can afford. Duolingo trying to get me to pay money to get my streak back. I don't think I can do enough to do that. Anyway, it has to wait because I'm doing stuff. Alright. Okay. Got those two done. To the next body. I'm 13. 12 and 13. Pretty sure I'm still in here. Yep, 12 and 13. Shoot. One thing I do appreciate about newer PW kits, having worked with some of the older ones, nothing crazy old, but some of the older ones, I do appreciate how like-numbered items are close together. I'm not having to dig around 3 different sprues to find 13 when it's not close to 14 for some unknown reason. Right. You. I won't lie to you, One Fire. Get them out of my house is a great deal. And sometimes it pays off. Make friends with people who make very poor financial decisions. And eventually back out of those. It can and will pay off eventually. You just gotta play the long con. But yeah, I do have them. They have been sitting in my closet since then, so they are unlikely to come out soon. I'm really not that big of an AOS fan. Like, at some point I probably will, but it's just very low priority. I tested, for lack of a better term, if you guys have seen my kind of like Silver Sword Brethren, I think I've shown them off a little bit on the channel and on some other places. If you've seen those, that is actually kind of a bit of a test scheme for what I would want to do with those Stormcast Eternals, probably just with more purple instead of red. So it's on my list. It's just pretty low down because it's not something I intended to do. If that makes sense. It was never part of my hobbying plan, so it tends to be very low in totem pole. And I'm just not into AOS, I'll admit. Kind of going back to like New Year, New Army thing. If I was going to start like a whole new army for the new year, it would actually probably be whatchamacallit? Grand Cathay for Old World, because I do really like them in Total War Warhammer 3. I think they are quite fun. I did at one point state that I will get into the Old World when Grand Cathay comes out. And then not a week later, Grand Cathay got announced for the Old World, or got teased for it, I guess. It wasn't quite announced, it was a little teaser image they put out at the very beginning of 2025 this year. I think it was at the very beginning. And like a week or two later, like fresh in everyone's memory, because they were like, hey, didn't you say? And I was like, shut up. That was a thing I said. It was not something I thought would actually happen in any sort of timely manner, and yet here we are. Oh, I think I've kind of set a bit of a goal for myself. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, finish my Soviets, finish my orcs, then I will get Grand Cathay. I will start a Grand Cathay. But I want to be a little disciplined and get those two done, knowing full well that I am going to have other stuff come up, like the recent announcement of Ron Blackheart, right? His name, can't think of the top of my head. His new mini, love it. Love the rule he does currently. That could change, but love the rule. And I am interested in these kind of campaign systems they're putting out for the end of the edition. So those will probably get bought, at least a little bit. There it goes. Space Cops. So Huron Blackheart, I think this is my mind keeps wanting to call him Blackthorn, and that's not true. But Huron Blackheart is a Huron Blackheart is actually a pretty interesting character. I highly recommend looking it up, kind of looking into the Badab lore. Basically, he is a Space Marine chapter leader that went rogue. And so, like, the idea behind the Huron Blackheart, behind, like, the Badab War, is that it's supposed to be kind of like a showcase on how Imperial forces can come to fight each other, right? Like, it's still 40k. Chaos is, like, ultimately involved in the end, but Chaos doesn't start it. Basically, the Imperial bureaucracy kind of screws over. I believe his name was Lufthuron at the time. I could be slightly mistaken there. I'm pretty sure I was it. Because he was a chapter master of the Astral Claws, I believe was their loyalist name. He was chapter master of the Astral Claws, and they kind of got screwed over repeatedly by the Imperial bureaucracy, because they were supposed to, like, protect against, like, this warp incursion thing or something like that. And every time they tried to, like, fight it, they kept getting screwed over. Like, things kept happening, and, like, forces would get pulled away at the last minute, blah blah blah. And none of it was, like, sinister. It's not like, you know, the Inquisition or anything was trying to do this to them. It just kept happening, and it really upset him. So he started breaking a lot of, like, cardinal rules about Space Marine chapters they're not supposed to do, right? Like, they're not supposed to raise, like, large self-defense forces, be that, like, armies or fleets. He started doing that. He started drafting a bunch in. He started withholding tithes that are supposed to go out to the larger Imperium, because he wanted to build up, like, a force that could finally accomplish the mission that he's been trying to accomplish. Problem being, of course, that this is still the Imperium, and you can't just do that. So, ultimately, he tries to effectively secede from the Imperium. I think he still considers himself loyal, but he's essentially trying to secede from the Imperium. And in doing so, brings, of course, the wrath of the Imperium down upon him and his all the people he gathered, as well as a couple of Space Marine chapters he had managed to convince were on like the right side of things. Probably most well known as the Lamenters, who lamented their decision to ally with him. You're welcome. Ultimately, does not work out for Luftiron. They are forced to run for the hills and ultimately become the Red Corsairs, which is a pretty well-known chapter of Renegade Space Marines. Though anyone can join them, you don't have to be a former Astral Claw or anything like that. So yeah, they kind of represent, like, obviously you have the 9 legions for Chaos Space Marines, right? And so they are represented very well in Warhammer 40k. But Space Marines still fall to chaos, like all throughout the entire 10,000 years between the Horus Heresy and the modern 40k. So the Red Corsairs kind of represent the more like recent converts to chaos and Chaos Space Marines. So yeah, they are kind of Space Marine pirates. They steal a bunch of ships. They stolen some relatively famously. They will steal them because they have to supply themselves somehow, and they don't have necessarily the same amount of support as like the Chaos Legions do. Sorry, I keep getting a little sidetracked. I need to find these pieces. So yeah, they're kind of like, they do engage in a little piracy to support themselves. I don't know exactly what they've been up to as Red Corsairs. I just know I do think they're a little neat. And ironically, they do show up in the Night Lords trilogy at one point. And it's honestly deeply hilarious. Because basically what it is like, over time they had come to control a former Night Lord ship, and the Night Lords kind of want it back, and I think they need access to like Gene Seed or something like that. And so they make a deal with Red Corsairs to, like, it's a specific chapter, but I can't remember which chapter it was. But basically to raid their fortress monastery while most of them were away, and like take a bunch of Gene Seed and a bunch of other stuff. And the Night Lords agree to this, and they go through with it. They're going through the operation. The Night Lords are Night Lords, and what they do best is sneak. They are very sneaky. So I believe Huron is the one or Huron Blackheart is the one that has the plan. Hold on, there it is. I lost the he has the plan where they're gonna like sneak in, disable some stuff, and then that will allow the Red Corsair Terminators to come like right in on top of it. So they go through with it. And basically as soon as this happens, as soon as they fulfill their part of the deal, the Night Lords don't necessarily backstab them, but they stop cooperating in the way that the Red Corsairs would like. Which leads to like the truly hilarious line of "Stop hiding, you cowards," as the Night Lords are actively using the Red Corsair Terminators as cover, so they don't get shot. It's deeply hilarious. One of my favorite scenes in that entire trilogy. I will say this: one of the nice things about being a Night Lords fan and a Black Templars fan, actually, they both kind of fulfill similar roles. They tend to be used a lot as like supporting cast. Is that the word I'm looking for? As like supporting characters. So like, excuse me. So like they have a tendency to, so Night Lords, in case of Night Lords, they tend to show up as villains a lot. Like I decided to listen to the Carcharodon book, Red Tide, I think. Let me get that on there real quick. They decide to, anyway, I decided to read the Carcharodon book because I think Adeptus Ridiculous is doing their next like book club book or something. So I got it, finally listened to it during my road trip last week, and lo and behold, the Night Lords are actually the villains in that book. Did not expect them to be there. Happy that they were. And Black Templars kind of do that in Imperium books, where they kind of end up being a secondary faction, which is nice. It's nice to have factions I like be little things that have a tendency to show up a lot in the background of supporting factions for whatever the main one is. On Fire says Night Lords give me mixed vibes. Yeah, it's fair. They're a little over the top, which is why I kind of like look past the like really dark elements that might otherwise be like, no. I think Tristan actually pointed that out in a stream recently. I was like, I don't really like darkness for the sake of darkness, as I'm like actively playing my Night Lords. They're like, with them, it's almost over the top. It's goofy a lot of the time. I will say, like a lot of Night Lords fans, the novels do a lot of the heavy lifting. They make them really cool and really sympathetic most of the time. I mean, they're still Night Lords. Like, they're still like absolutely terrible people by any stretch of the imagination. But they're at least entertaining when they do it. I mean, who can be mad? I mean, there's literally a line in the first or second book, I forget exactly which, that's something like, "Shut up, or I will tear off your head and make it into the world's ugliest grenade." Which is just a hilarious line. Spoken from one Space Marine to another, mind you. But I like them. They're fun for what they are. Don't like playing them a lot of the time. Also because they try to make them good at Battle Shock, which I understand. I get where they're coming from. But problem with that is if Battle Shock is bad in any given edition, or whatever the equivalent is, they're going to be bad. Which is upsetting. I think most people play Renegade Raiders, playing them, which I honestly prefer. I feel like it captures the sneaky, like fast attack nature of them more. So like that's probably more reasonable for like a 40k scale fights. They're not really campaigns. Yeah. Also, I will say one of the interesting kind of things about I find interesting about Night Lords is they're kind of meant to be like they have a very warped sense of it, but like their core focus, like Curse's whole thing was justice, like, which I find interesting. Makes for interesting little like what would they have been. Ooh, a little too much. One Fire says, "What's a good Chaos Space Marine faction to play?" Good first one. So that's actually kind of the cool thing about Chaos Space Marines. So, or one of the ways they differ a lot from regular Space Marines is that they don't really do the sub faction thing in the same way. They kind of do. I think there might be some characters that are technically faction locked. I would actually have to check. I'm not sure if what's the term I'm looking for? If because like you have some, there are a few special characters, not many special characters, but there are a few. Namely, Huron Blackheart, whatever got shown in the leaks will probably be unique characters as well. And those will probably be, I don't know if they're tagged for Red Corsairs or not. They might be. And then you have a couple Black Legion characters like Abaddon, Archon, World Claimer. They may be the only two, as far as I know. That may or may not. If they have Black Legion, they might be slightly faction locked too. So you can't mix. Excuse me. Can't mix and match those two characters. However, you're not really as restricted in the same way as you are with regular Space Marines. We have a whole bunch of like special characters and units. All you really have is a few special characters. So you can pick up a Chaos Space Marine army without the named characters and just kind of do whatever. Oh, Fabulous Bile. I don't even know if I don't think he's faction locked at all, even if he is a unique character. So you can play any detachment you want. I like Renegade Raiders, if I remember correctly. It gives like assault and like reroll advances or something like that. So you can just like zoom across the board. Yeah, honestly, just kind of I'd recommend staying away a little bit from like Dread Talons and Nightmare Hunt if you're needing something like just to get used to playing them. Renegade Raiders is good. The Black Legion detachment's pretty good, but I think it's more like Terminator focused. I think it basically gives you Oath a moment, which for them is really good. Word Bearer's attachment's pretty good. Honestly, most of the attachments are. I don't think there's any like bad attachments besides maybe Dread Talon and Nightmare Hunt now. All right. What's next? Pistols. Did I give you guys pistols? I did. Did not give these two pistols. These are like the easiest part to forget on these dudes. Ooh, and I am starting to feel a little tired. What time is it? About 9 o'clock? How late do you think we should go tonight, guys? How are we feeling? I'm thinking our standard 9:30 is probably good. I'm getting a bit eepy. I'm feeling it. I'll tell you that right now. I'm feeling it. Can't believe next year, one, first of all, is only 2 days away. Secondly, I can't believe tomorrow is already the 31st. At least I have the first off. I don't have to be anywhere for 24 hours. That's nice. That is fair enough, Wine and Fire. And we do, of course, appreciate your dedication watching us from out on the East Coast. Mind just like mentally just stopped for a second. All right. 26, 27. 2627. Ooh. All right, 29, 28. Where is 28? I see 29. That's 41. Did you put it weirdly far away? I gave you a compliment. They did. I bet it's on a whole other screw. Oh, there it is. Still far away. I prefer it when parts are close. When parts that are needed around the same time, they should be close together. I don't know if that's a hot take. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's like ice cold, but you know, that's what I believe personally. Pieces should be readily accessible. only problem with this glue is that it has a tendency to slide a little bit. So like half my minis have my fingerprints stuck in them somewhere from the glue, like softening the plastic and me accidentally like pressing down on it. Ooh, side note, Tristan, if you're still here, I did want to thank you for the recommendation for the Righteous Gemstones. My wife and I have been watching that recently. We're still in the first season. I think we're on like episode like 6 or 7, and very good. Darker than I thought it was going to be, but deeply hilarious. I do enjoy it, and I'm actually a little surprised. Not surprised I enjoy it, because you're definitely right. It's definitely something I wanted to check out. Did I? I thought you were the one that recommended it. Well, I apologize if I got that wrong then. Maybe it might have been Scott or someone. I thought you were the one that mentioned it. Yes, Uncle Baby Billy. Definitely my favorite. I can tell you that as well. Also, hello, Josiah. I don't know if I have seen you around before. If I haven't, welcome to the stream. But it is deeply hilarious to watch. I don't know, that's his name. It's like Walter Goggins. Is it Goggins? That's what his name's pronounced. It's weird to watch him in Righteous Gemstones and in Fallout, because he's very much using the same accent, but they obviously could not be different characters. Like, I do love it. Not even gonna lie, deeply hilarious. Definitely my favorite. Definitely my favorite character. I can tell you that right now. Uncle Baby Billy. So I do apologize, Tristan, if I accidentally mistaken or mistook you for someone else. For whatever reason in my brain, that was tied to you, and I don't know why. All right, 132. These guys are gonna get pistols, and I'm not gonna forget it. I remember this time. All right. Plastic glue is fantastic, but man, do I hate when it drips around. I get it where I don't want it. I hope I was assembling this. Oh no, I bought this Lego. I was gonna say, I might hope I was assembling this mini somewhere you guys could actually see it. I do apologize, but we will fix that. No problemo. Alright. Set that over there. Alright. Question is, can I get these literal 2 people done in 20 minutes? I hope yes. All right. There, let those dry. They do need their radios. More radios. Right. More shields. I will say this for that show, regardless of who recommended it. I am not a huge fan of Danny McBride. So I really wasn't. When I found out he was kind of the main character, I was a bit hesitant. I won't even lie. But he actually does really good. I didn't think he does okay. He's a good supporting character. I think he's an excellent supporting actor. I really didn't think he could pull off being a main character, but he does. He does really, really well. Boom, got that. We need the club 33. Check. Okay, I have been saying a lot how they made they very much made this as a kill team kit, and they did. But honestly, compared to a lot of other kill team kits, they put a lot of work to make it 40k friendly. They give you enough that you can make 3 different units out of it in 40k. You can give them all shields, you can give them all shotguns, you can do this specialist exaction squad. I think it's pretty great. Not gonna fault them too much. They did pretty good. Did a really good job. I'd like to see in a bit more, to be honest with you. I feel like a few of the more recent kill team kits, much as I love them, like the Sanctifiers, love them. However, they can really only be built the one way, but in a kill team way. Not what was the new, the Aquilons, however you want to call them. Yeah, Aquilons. Wouldn't mind using them for an Ultramarine group I made. What do you mean, Onefire? I feel like I have actually seen Arbites kind of serve as the basis for an Ultramarine Auxiliary conversion. Or am I thinking of? Actually, maybe I might be wrong. I might be thinking of shoot. I think I'm thinking of. I think they actually did Solar Auxilia. I mean, any sort of they do have a vaguely knight aesthetic that I think could kind of work for a few different factions. The big thing is their pauldron, the little shoulder guard. because that's like an inherent part of it. When it's not there, it's very noticeable. So you gotta find some way to work around that. Which I guess if you like trimmed it and shaved it, you could like smooth it out and maybe do something. Maybe. Maybe. All right. All right. Okay, so I just need the shoulders and then their heads, and they are good to go. All right, helmets. You know what? That's fair. That is fair. One of my like favorite kind of silly things about the Arbites is that they're like their main organizational, like their headquarters on a planet is literally called a precinct fortress. Like the whole like it's literally designed in case of rebellion to be like the last stand, like to hold out in case of rebellion until like more imperial forces can arrive. Which I love that. It's so goofy that like essentially the space FBI is supposed to be like an absolute holdout, which also does mean they have access to like tanks, like Lehman Russes, and like they're effect like I don't know, it's 40K, so it's not like surprising, but I do find it deeply hilarious that they are effectively a military force. Though incidentally is also a thing in Judge Dredd. Not like I don't think that part was intentional, but in Dread Origins, it is showed the Justice Department has tanks. I am a little bummed 'cause at one point I did want to use because they have these cool like kind of knightly like squire helmets. I wanted to use some spare heads on um Crusader Squad with the neophytes or whatever. But unfortunately, the little piece on the back, it goes right through here or whatever, means it can't fit on the Scout Marine bodies. It would work if it could, but it can't, which is annoying. Well, hopefully, maybe someday. Wanting Fire. Unfortunately, truly like mixed armies are kind of in timeout right now due to some stuff from 8th edition, from my understanding. So you probably won't be seeing those. However, I mean, there's always a chance. There's always a chance they bring them back in the future. And in the timeout a little bit, but they like to bring up new concepts. I mean, at the end of 9th, excuse me, they allowed Imperium armies to take allied units of Votan. That was weird. Or was it Imperium? No, it was Tau armies. Allowed Tau armies to take allied units of Votan. It was, yeah, that was weird. That was weird. I guess they also had some more like souping in 9th. You could, I think, take an auxiliary detachment or something like that. That let you bring a few units from another faction. Was it Imperium? And maybe it was. But so I know they couldn't originally do it, and they added it at the very end. But yeah, that was weird. It's neat, but it was weird. There's always a chance they bring him back. Always a non-zero chance. All right. Up next. Yay, I have another 14 dudes to go. What time is it? It's 9:18. We can get a couple more bodies done at least. All right. 38:39. Is that you? It is you. Good for you. Thanks. Anyway. Yeah, there's always a chance that could come back. I mean, you can kind of still do some soupy things with Imperial agents, which I do appreciate. I mean, obviously. I assume I need 40 and 41, as I'm already, like, clipping them out. Over there. And... So funny enough, the rule that lets you take the Warglaive is actually not from Imperial Agents. That's just a Knight rule. That's the thing Knights have been able to do all of 10th at least. I think there was some way to ally them in 9th. I don't remember exactly the way. I think it was like auxiliaries, like super heavy auxiliary that lets you take Knights. Because it worked differently. Yeah, so you can actually, because the rules like to ally in Imperial Agents and the rules to ally in Knights actually don't like interact with each other like in any negative way. I mean, they don't interact with each other like at all, including negative ways. So you can bring like what is it? I think it's 2 like armigers, like one big dude, 2 or 3. I think it actually might be 3 armigers in a 2,000 point list. Bring like 3 armigers, stick a you can bring them. You can still bring your max stuff for Imperial Agents. Man, I'm evidently more tired than I thought. You can bring your max stuff for Imperial Agents. Bring the armigers. I think you can have like essentially 1,000 points of your list like not be from your main faction. I don't think you'd ever actually do it. I know we did talk a little earlier about Imperial Agents lists, and that's kind of part of it. I gotta see. How much do I have? Actually, that's a good question. How much Imperial... Could I run a full Imperial Agents army at this point? Probably, actually. Actually, I don't know. I got 2 armigers. I got a big knight, so I can bring in those. I'll have 2 subductor squads, an exaction squad. I'll have 2 squads of a rhino, quote unquote. I have a give me a second. Brain think. I have 2 squads of what are they? Imperial Navy breachers. There we go. 2 squads of breachers. I have 2 preachers. I have sanctifiers. I have boatload of inquisitors, like basically every inquisitor at this point. Got a navigator. Did I get that back from Scott? Hold up, give me a second. I need to check something. I'm not sure I ever got that navigator back from Scott. I feel like I did. Oh, good. Actually, I'm not sure I ever gave navigator. Navigator? Okay. Yeah, I have my navigator. He's still up there. You guys saw me paint that one. I might have 2,000 points of Imperial Agents. A bit incidentally. But I might. It's not a good list. But I think it could be funny to run on the channel one of these days. Look out for April 1st. That might be our April 1st game. Imperial Agents versus something that's going to kick their butt. Now, if only I could make an Imperial Agents list that wasn't bad. And Imperial Agents is very eclectic. Okay, actually, real talk. One thing that did upset me last year, I also have all the assassins. So, I definitely have 2,000 points of Imperial Agents. That wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be good at all. I would get my butt handed to me. It would be funny. It would be amusing. You are onto something, Modifier. You are onto something. I'm trying to thought a little bit. Oh yeah, one thing that did upset me with Grotmans last year, like one of the few things that did, was the Imperial Agent detachment was for assassins. And like Arbites. Like you got I can take an absolute crap ton of these dudes. Why do I not have a detachment just built for them? They make up a solid like 10, 15, maybe 20 even percent of the codex. Let me run them. It's weird. It's weird that I can't run an Arbites army. Or at least an Arbites kind of like focused one. It's weird. It's genuinely weird. All right. I know what I'm doing tonight. I know Duolingo wants me to pay actual money to get my streak back, and that's not happening. So I probably will not be doing that before bed. But I might have to hop on to the old list builder and see if I have enough points to run an Imperial Agents army. Unintentionally, mind you. Let to be very clear, this was not intentional, but it would be funny. Alright, 9:26. Alright. I think a nice little 2-hour stream is probably good enough for tonight. I'm a bit tired. It was a bit of a long day at work. I want to get kind of these last little things on these guys. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to talk about, anything you want to go over real quick, feel free to go ahead and leave them in the chat, and we'll get to them before we get out of here. We do also want to say, once again, thank you all for being here. If you're not, make sure you subscribe so that we will see you around. And if you have been subscribed, mostly talking to you there, Desire Bartel, I do apologize. I don't quite recognize your name. Between Mini Doc, Wanting Fire, and Tristan, we've got a nice little group of regulars here. I do tend to notice them a little bit more. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do so. We'd love to see you here more often. If you're not, make sure to join the Discord so you can join us for our silly, stupid little conversations on there. Always a bunch of little dumb stuff. You can see Scott finally finishing Farsight after like 3 years and then getting roasted for it. Oh, that's right. I saw your post about that. Sorry, I didn't really get a chance to react to it. I think I was at work at that point, Tristan. Yeah, I saw that. You managed to get a unit of novitiates all the way up to Paragons after being like Shoot, they were the Repentia too towards the end there, right? That's awesome. Actually, that's pretty cool. I really love it when you can set kind of like a self goal. Not self goal. That's a different thing. It's fun when you can like set a little goal for different things like that. Be it for, like crusade, narrative sort of stuff, or even just like end a game and pull it off. I mean, that's basically what I do with my space cops whenever I run them. Tristan, yourself have seen this. Or if I'm playing the casinos, I'm going to bring the exaction squad, put it in a rhino, and give it the anti-Xenos Inquisitor. And it's going to be deeply hilarious when they track down your warlord and arrest them. Yeah, it's always really fun when you can pull that sort of stuff off. That's fantastic. I'm glad you're able to do that. Were you able to tell that story a little bit in the models? So that'd be kind of cool. If you have any like little motifs you can carry through the three different types. Just saying, it'd be cool. Oh, there was one thing I did want to say real quick, because I find it deeply hilarious. Real quick, if you come down here, I don't know how well this is actually going to show up under the light. I will do my best. Can I turn it down, maybe? If I turn it off, can you see that? That didn't make it a whole lot more visible. Anyway, if you can see it right here, especially, they have like the chalk outline, right? I find it deeply hilarious that they have the chalk outline that you can put on like bases and like scenery and stuff. They even have like the head separate. I really want to eventually put the chalk outline on one of the Arbites vehicles and have like the head like in a different spot of the vehicle, so it's like they hit it, ran it over, and then we're like, oh, we should mark that. We have to investigate it. Little darker humor there. But yeah. Does that look better for you guys without the light? I think it kind of does. It doesn't reflect as much, but it makes it really dark for me. Okay, it just says the squad also spent time as retributors, so I'm at least going to base them the same. Not sure I want all the other details. That's fair. So they went novitiates, retributors, repentia, paragons. I mean, that's pretty cool though. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In regards to the sisters one, I do really like that is a thing, for lack of a better term. I like I said, I really like that you can like upgrade the units, and I would love to see that at least in as maybe not nearly as flexible, but in like a similar form in other armies. Like I think we talked about it. I think I mentioned like Cadians being able to upgrade to like Kazarkin, create engineers. If they ever add white shields, letting that like those become like regulars, become veterans, become elite, blah blah blah, or like Space Marines being able to promote scouts into like intercessors or like battle line units or like devastators or whatever the equivalent in the future is going to be, and then like eventually letting them be like Terminator armor so they can like or Terminator honors so they can upgrade to like Terminator units or like veterans. I would really like to see that because that's a really cool way to see a faction grow, and it kind of sounds like that's what they're doing for. Can you promote Marines to Dreadnoughts? I did not know that. Noted. I need to take another look at the Crusade rules. It's always just kind of been to the side with me. I do know with um 500 Worlds, I guess Maelstrom's what's coming next. With those, especially 500 Worlds, it looks like it had like a little campaign system. I really, 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 really want to see what that campaign system looks like. It looks like it has you like fighting over like a galactic, not a galactic map, but like a system map. So I really, really, really want to see that. But it is getting after 9:30, so we do probably need to go ahead and start shutting her down. As usual, thank you all so much for taking the time to come hang out with me, hang out with each other. You guys are always active in chat. Of course, as always, big shout out to guys like Wanting Fire, Tristan, and Minidoc. You guys are the backbone of the hobby streams in particular. Always awesome to see you guys. Shout out again to Josiah Bartel for commenting for I think the first time. Always nice to see new faces, see more regular stuff like that. I've said it before, I'll say it again, especially as we get into kind of the end of this year. This stream in particular is very much like my project and my baby. So having you guys here and having it just being supported means a lot to me. It really does. I really wasn't sure what this was going to look like. I do know I put up in the poll an option for more hobby content going forward, which I believe quite a few people voted for. So we will definitely keep that in mind. I know we do have a couple hobby videos planned out for kind of this next coming early part of the year, especially with Scott as he works on his Stormlight Imperial Knight Army. So we will be providing that, we promise. If you guys have not voted in that poll, make sure you go and do that. That just gives us an idea of what you guys are wanting to see beyond our usual hobby streams and game streams. So that would be greatly appreciated. If anyone has any final questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I think this is probably a good place to call it. We've got, we got 8 dudes and then 2 extra done. So we kind of got a full squad done. I know I need to still do a lot more, but it is what it is, right? Like it's GW. It takes a while. They're quality minis. And these ones in particular are a bit more finicky than even regular human-sized ones. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me here tonight and for joining me for the most of this last year and joining the channel most last year as we are 2 months away from our 1 year streaming on YouTube. It's been awesome to have you guys. It'll be awesome to see this all continue to grow into the future. So thank you guys so much for being here tonight. You guys have a wonderful night. Have an absolutely amazing New Year's. And we will see you on our regular scheduled stream on Sunday, which I believe is Emperor's Children versus Custodians, I think is what we said. Let me double check quick. I don't know. Emperor's Children versus Tau. I guess we did just do Custodians. Anyway, good night, everyone. Have a lovely night. Have a happy new year. And I will see you guys next year. Bye.